Well, Mark, first of all, thank you very much for your very kind introduction. It's my great pleasure to be here. And I try to explain these topics as clear as I can. And I hope that will help me at the end with your answers. There were many words spoken about genocide during this conference, during other conferences, and there are many activities going around the world dealing with one single question: how to prevent it. And allow me to concentrate on this question also on this occasion. January next year, there will be 60 years since enough number of states members of United Nations ratified the United Nations Genocide Convention. In this convention it is written: genocide is a certain act undertaken with the intent to destroy, in whole or in substantial part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. Well, there were many reasons for adopting such a convention. I will now show you a few slides dealing only with the mass murders and genocides in last and this century. Armenia, Soviet Union, Europe, Holocaust, Yugoslavia, 1945, 1946, Mazgarev, you see, China, tens of millions of people killed, Rwanda, Bosnia, Mazgarev in Srebrenica, Darfur, Eastern Congo. This is the report from United Nations from September the 8th, 2010, when they said that the United Nations has reported that more than 500 systematic rapes were committed by armed combatants in Eastern Congo since late July. More than double the number previously reported, and accepted partial responsibility for not protecting citizens. This happened a few months ago. First of all, we have to ask ourselves why genocide happens. How it is possible for someone to persuade a group, a large military unit, a political organization, his fellow compatriots, to commit such a big crime? Well, from the history we know the answers for ancient times. Roman legions destroyed many tribes in Europe and in a wider Mediterranean area because those tribes didn't want to surrender to Roman law and they didn't want to pay taxes to Rome. Genghis Khan eliminated many towns, annihilated tens of thousands of inhabitants in China and Central Asia because he ruled with the help of fear. And he destroyed the towns because he knew that next town will surrender without any efforts. He used the fear as a tool to conquer. Well, but all this happens centuries or millenniums ago. What about the genocide committed in 20th century? What about, for instance, genocide that happened 15 years ago in Srebrenica, in the middle of Europe, 6 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall? In July 1995, the United Nations Protecting Force, represented on the ground with one big battalion of Dutch peacekeepers, failed to prevent the town's capture by the army of Republic of Srpska and the subsequent massacre by the Bosnian Serbs of more than 8,000 civilians and prisoners, mostly men and boys. By seeking to eliminate a part of the Bosnian Muslims, the Bosnian Serb forces committed genocide. They targeted for extinction the 40,000 Bosnian Muslims living in Srebrenica, a group which was emblematic of the Bosnian Muslims in general. They stripped all the male Muslim prisoners, military and civilian, elderly and young, of their personal belongings and identification, and deliberately and methodically killed them solely on the basis of their identity. I'm telling this because this is not the first time when such crime happened on the same place. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY, located in The Hague, ruled that the massacre of the enclave's male inhabitants, accompanied by the forcible transfer of all the women, children and elderly, constituted a crime of genocide. This was official statement of ICTY. But former Yugoslav People's Army General Ratko Mladic, he has been accused by the ICTY as the main person responsible for this crime. He still remains at large and is suspected of hiding in Serbia or in the entity within Bosnia and Herzegovina called the Republic of Srpska. Ratko Mladic was the mastermind of this massacre. In 2005, 10 years after this genocide happened in Srebrenica, in a message to the 10th anniversary commemoration of the genocide, the Secretary General of the United Nations described Srebrenica as the worst crime on European soil since the Second World War. This statement of the Secretary General of United Nations is not really correct.